Headline on this one says it all. As utility bills bankrupt New Jersey, Trenton Democrats blame everyone but themselves. Sounds like leadership in California, where you've just got refinery after refinery saying, nope, we're done. And then it leaves the politicians in that are in office with, why are they all leaving? And the energy companies say, because of your policies. Well, they can't blame themselves. They got to blame everybody else. What do we got going on in New Jersey? Let's check it out. Here we go. As temperatures rise and your utility bills soar past $500 or more a month, with another 20% increase expected in June, Trenton's Democratic leadership hopes that you won't notice who's really to blame. They're counting on you to forget that for the past 7.5 years, God, this sounds familiar. Sounds like living in Washington State. For the past 7.5 years, every major energy policy in New Jersey has been authored, endorsed, and enforced by one party, the Democrats. Oh, it can't be our policy. Our policy is really good. It's really strong. It's for the people. Well, then your prices are going through the roof. Yeah. Just can't really work that one out. It's got to be price fixing. Remember when Kamala Harris was, it's price fixing. It's price fixing. And you're like, what? That makes no sense at all. Governor Phil Murphy's Energy Master Plan. Oof. Energy Master Plan. All right. How's that working out for you? Oh, rates to the moon. Ideologically driven, economically blind, laid the foundation for today's energy crisis. There you go. There you have it. Same thing with California. Years and years and years of progressive policy, basically driving out the oil industry. You got no supply. You got to bring oil in from elsewhere. Same thing in New Jersey. Don't have enough energy internally. You got to bring it in from elsewhere. Guess what? Your pricing is going to go to the moon. With rubber stamp approval from a Democrat-controlled legislature and the governor's hand-picked Board of Public Utilities, New Jersey's energy future was charted by wishful thinking rather than realistic planning. Does that sound familiar? These policies didn't ask, what will the cost be? Or, can this actually work? That's some of the stuff that just drives me absolutely batty. Hey, look at the policy itself. Does this make sense? No, it doesn't for this, and this reason. And they put it in place because, definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That's what they're doing. They get it in place, and then after a while, they're like, gosh, it didn't work out. Don't get it. What's the dealio here? They simply chase slogans and far-left political ideology. Last I checked, neither of those help you pay your bills. How did New Jersey let go of energy production? Let's be clear on how we got here. Before Murphy took office, New Jersey was a net producer of energy. California, net producer of gas? Yeah. That meant we generated more electricity than we used and could sell the surplus to other states. Fast forward to today, under his administration, we've shut down a nuclear power plant and 5 major coal and natural gas facilities. That's a 20% reduction in our energy supply. Boom, gone. Does that sound familiar? I keep saying that, but man, it's just, East Coast, West Coast, right? Governor promised that solar and offshore wind would fill the gap. Solar and offshore wind. Are you effing kidding me? Honestly, that's your plan. That is your plan. Ugh. What do we actually get? A modest bump in solar and 0 new offshore wind capacity. Zero. Not one turbine has been added, thankfully. Meanwhile, the state pushed and in some cases mandated a massive increase in electricity demand. Does that sound familiar? How about the whole Senate shutting down the only gas, no more gas-powered cars being sold in California after 2035? That's what this is. Electric vehicles, electric appliances, electric commercial buildings, and even a new requirement that 10% of all trucks sold in the state are electric. Further putting pressure on the electric power grid, right? Do we really want the government mandating what kind of car we drive? No, hell to the no. How to heat our homes? No more natural gas for you, only electric. That's going to work out great. So now where do we get our power? The author asks. We buy it at a premium from out-of-state producers like California does, with those big oil tankers coming in, billowing enormous amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, because that's what oil tankers, that's what they use. They use really low quality fuel, but that's an international deal because they're bringing it into the shores. And then once it hits the shores, it's all about domestic, right? So California's got to bring their own, they've got to bring in from the Middle East. They got to bring in oil from the Middle East. Absolutely mind-blowing. And how do Democrat legislators respond? First, they deflect. It's the utility company's fault. It's their fault. Price gouging, price fixing, not enough reserves. Sound familiar? Or blame PJM, the grid operator. Blame the grid operator. Blame Chevron. Blame the refinery. It's their problem. Or, more absurdly, blame Republicans, blame Trump. This has got to be due to Trump tariffs, right? Never mind that Republicans haven't held the governorship for the past 8 years and have been the minority party in both houses of the legislature for almost 25 years. Yep, Washington State just had a $9 billion tax plan go through. Yep, it's great living in Washington State. This didn't happen overnight. It took nearly 8 years of reckless policy, 4 of which federal support under the Biden administration, and a governor and Democrat-controlled legislature more interested in appeasing green special interests than protecting your wallet. This stuff doesn't make any sense at all. It just doesn't. They're so worked up about clean environment, and then these policies actually result in something different. And they're like, how'd that happen? I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, anyway, let's try it again. Let's double down, do it again. And when their energy fantasies failed to deliver, they didn't stop. In a recent joint session of the Senate and Assembly, president of BPU, appointed by Murphy, vowed to double down on solar. I'm sure that'll work out fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Absolutely idiotic, isn't it? It's mind-blowing how detached from reality these folks are. This is going to be the greatest thing ever. They've even had the gall to quietly circulate talking points claiming they've always supported an all of the above energy strategy, meaning, it could be anything, right? One that includes nuclear. Really? And why did they allow a nuclear plant to close? Yeah, we still support gas refinery. Well, why are the refineries closing? Well, because you're making it an environment where they don't want to run their business there. So they're saying, adios, we'll take our headquarters, Chevron will take our headquarters from California to Houston. And why does the state have 0 new nuclear projects in the pipeline? To get back down that. You don't get credit for being pro-nuclear in an election year after spending 7 years vilifying it. So classic. They've recently passed a law requiring utilities to text you twice a month about how much energy you've used. Their solution to your $500 a month utility bill, 500 plus, is to make sure that you're reminded of it more often. Here you go. It's going to cost you more. Get back to you in another 2 weeks, too. I'll let you know again. It's going to cost you more. There you go. They want you to turn down your AC and sweat through the summer and shiver through the winter. Remember when California came up with the, we're only going to sell electric cars after 2035? And then literally later, like that weekend, there was a massive, super hot. It was super hot. And I think it was LA or whomever it was. They basically stated, if you guys could not use your air conditioning units, if you guys could not use power anymore, that'd be great because power grid can't handle it. But hey, run out and buy that electric car. Does that make any sense at all? No. Another legislative bill they promoted requiring BPU commissioners to have actual experience in energy or utility regulation. Think about that. They need a law to tell the governor to hire qualified people. You can't make this stuff up. It's absolutely mind-blowing, the stuff that these folks do. And yet, you know what I find super interesting is that I live in Washington State. We've got harebrained stuff like this all the time. And then people look around and go, yeah, I'm on the wrong end of things here. Like, well, did you vote for that individual? I did. Okay. Do you see the policy they're doing? Yeah. Would you vote for whomever is going to run against them in the next election? Probably not. I'd probably still vote Democrat. Okay. How's that working out for you? Well, it's getting really expensive. But hey, go Democrat. Go Democrat. New Jersey electric bills are about to jump 20%. Who's to blame and what can you do? All right. New Jersey's electricity bills are about to get more expensive. More than $20 for an average consumer starting Sunday. Article goes on to say a bunch of different utility companies just basically charging a ton more. Increases are largely due to pricing set at the state's annual Basic Generation Services auction approved by the boards of public utilities earlier this year. So the real question is, why is this happening now? Why all of a sudden? What is impacting this rate hike? While companies like PSEG are able to produce power, they still have to sell it in the PJM marketplace, which serves 13 states and the District of Columbia, all of which have differing energy needs and priorities. That leaves state utilities like PSE&G, which is owned by PSEG, subject to market pressures that they can't individually control. But why the massive increase now? That depends on who you ask. Governor blames PJM for what he describes as lagging efforts to increase generation. Lagging efforts. You guys need to develop more ways to get more energy to the people. You guys need to. Okay, what kind of incentives are you giving us there, Phil? What kind of incentives? Oh, yeah. And in his April letter to the feds, Murphy said that he believed the higher rates could be due to market manipulation. There you go. Price fixing. Oh, that's always the good one, isn't it? Don't blame reality. Blame the individual players within the marketplace that can't really make all this happen. And yet, it's their fault. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's tariffs' fault. PJM said it's seen no evidence of market manipulation, but the state's dependence on energy import is to blame. State's dependence on energy import. Got to bring it in. Oil from the Middle East. Huh. That's weird, isn't it? Yeah. New Jersey has insufficient generation in state to meet its needs, and it has to make up the difference through imports. Does that sound familiar? You restricted the supply, now you got to go out of state, and things get more expensive. Weird. PJM said in a statement cited by several media outlets in April after the governor sent his letter, a 7-year-long effort by New Jersey to fill this gap with offshore wind has failed to deliver any results whatsoever, and consumers are now paying the price for this failure. That's not shocking, is it? Oh, article goes on to say, as demand is going up, supply is going down. We constrict that supply. Supply is coming off the system due to primarily to decarbonization policies and some economics. Another article goes on to say, new rates, same blame game. Let's look at Governor Phil Murphy. Let's see what genius Phil Murphy and most Democrats have to say. They've attacked PJM, largely citing the backlog of energy projects PJM has been unable to handle, delaying the construction of new power plants by years. In New Jersey, we're doing our part to bring new resources to the market and making electricity more affordable for families and businesses as we look to a clean and resilient energy future, Governor said in a statement last fall. But then your energy prices are going to the moon. So, however, our grid operator must work in lockstep with the states and recognize that the market isn't responding quickly enough to current conditions of slow interconnection. He's blaming the system. Does that make any sense? Well, aren't you able to kind of say, yep, let's get that one going. Nope, yep, let's get that one going. And at the same time, you've constricted the ability of these energy producers And yet you've increased demand. Oh, we're going to do this like any Democrat state. We're going to do this. We're going to more dependence upon electricity, right? Electric cars, you name it. Get rid of all the good gas stuff. No more gas blowers. Some Democrats have also attacked utility companies, which are not responsible for generation costs in New Jersey. Republicans have criticized the BPU and the Murphy administration generally, in particular the governor's focus on offshore wind. A bet that didn't pan out, leaving the state starved of major new generation sources. Some Republicans have also criticized Murphy administration efforts to cushion the blow of cost increases, calling the timing of ideas to defer and spread out the rate hikes a political stunt, so you don't have to suck it up during your administration. Massive increases like you probably should. Let's defer this out a little bit. Maybe they won't notice. Maybe they won't understand that we're just, doing it to the future. Utilities have tried to distance themselves from the rate increases because it's not a good look, is it? Oh, they're charging us more, which are beyond their control in New Jersey, but that's an uphill battle. They've also raised their hands to build new power plants. If lawmakers felt inclined to undo the 1999 law that broke up vertically integrated utilities, most all of this is self-induced policy failure. That's what it is. It's policy failure. I mean, solar and wind. Let's get a bunch of power from them. That can be done. But it's such a small segment of the energy consumption and energy production, right? Tiny little fraction. It's just, and when you've got things like the windmills that have not come about, and then you got solar. Solar's good. I mean, using the sun. That's not a terrible thing, but it's not going to be enough to run what we need to run for people to be able to consume, people to be able to turn on their AC and not get these 500, 600. I saw one person in New Jersey had a $784 utility bill. I mean, crazy expensive. This is just to keep your house powered, essentially, right? And the big spike comes in summer when it gets real warm. And that's what we're talking about. You're talking about having a hot summer and have to run that AC. Otherwise, you just sit around and sweat. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't have that issue. During the winter, let's turn our heaters up because it gets cold. I mean, it's in the 40s for long stretches of time and it's drizzling outside. It's raining, every day, if not a cloudy sky. And you walk outside and you go, I need my puffy coat. It's May. Literally. That's what we live with. So Washington State, we live with something different than East Coast for sure, but it's the same thing. Your pricing's going to the moon. Washington State, because of this carbon emission deal with tax offsets and cap trading, just a bunch of other nonsense. It's an additional tax that Washington State has that gives us the most, some of the most expensive gasoline in the nation, behind like Hawaii and California and Pennsylvania, I think it was. Can't remember who the other area was that something like that. Just you've got some policy that has created a situation where your folks in office say, oh, this is just going to cost you pennies on the dollar. And then you start looking at it. It's like, 70 pennies on the dollar. It's a massive hike. But, this is what the Green New Deal is all about, right? It's going to be great for everybody. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And then it's not. And in California, they're absolutely scrambling. And in New Jersey, you're just paying a boatload more. And you shouldn't have to. But you also voted those folks into office. So you kind of get what you pay for, right? I get what I pay for here in Washington State, which is just a lot of taxes, a whole bunch of social programs, and not a lot of anything else real substantive. But, what are you going to do? Sometimes you're stuck where you are. But these individual policies are just whacked. I mean, they don't make sense, and they didn't make sense on the front end. And just because some politician with a bunch of other knuckleheaded politicians says that it's a good idea and this is going to work, maybe you should reconsider that. But no, we're not doing that. We're going to double down. More wind, more solar, more. Let's go back to the nuclear power plant. How about that? Let's have a little nuclear action. Nobody's doing that, are they? No. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye for now.